The PR2000 is a compliance report for LEAs for Title I, Part D. Part 1, LEA Program Facility Type as defined by USDE. LEAs will complete the schedule for the Part D Subpart 2 program. And number 5, the two state agencies that receive funds under Subpart 1 will input the data. In Part 1, the LEA will list the number of program facilities and the number of program facilities reporting data. They will also list the average length of stay in terms of days. For LEAs, the line 5 for adult correctional will be grayed out. If for any reason the number of programs and facilities does not equal the total number of programs and facilities reporting data, the LEA will be asked to explain why not. The bottom of the schedule has the same functionality as the rest of the compliance report, with a button for the printable version, return to the table of contents, and save the form. Part 2, Student Participation. The LEA will report student participation. In terms of long-term students served, this is the number of students who have been in the facility or program for at least 90 consecutive days. The LEA will also be asked to provide unduplicated count of students served. If the student comes in and out of the program more than once, the student will still be only counted once in the unduplicated student count. The unduplicated student count will then be subdivided by gender, and the totals for gender and age and ethnicity must match the total for unduplicated students served. In Part 2, Section B, Age, is where the LEA will list the student numbers by age, and Section C, the LEA will list the student numbers by race and ethnicity. The numbers for the totals for each of these groups must match the number of unduplicated students. The last of Part 2 is Section D, Student Groups. In this section, students may be classified in either or both categories. The LEA will provide the number of students for each program or facility for each category. Part 3 is asking about academic vocational outcomes. Section A is asking of the number of students who enroll in their local school district within 90 calendar days after exit. Section B is asking about the number of students who earn a high school equivalency or a high school diploma while in the facility or within 90 days after exit for each type of program. Section C is asking for the number of students who earn high school course credits, enroll in a high school equivalency program, or accepted and/or enroll in a post-secondary education, enroll in job training courses, or obtain employment either while in the facility or within 90 days of exit for each type of program. Part 4, Section A is asking for academic performance of long-term students in reading. The first question is asking about the number of long-term students who tested below grade level upon entry. The second question is about the number of long-term students with incomplete pre- and post-test information. Questions 4 through 7 address students that have both pre- and post-test information. Question 4 asks for number of long-term students who show a negative grade level change. Question 5 asks for students who show no change. Question 6 asks for students who show up to 1 full grade level of improvement. Question 7 asks for students who show improvement more than 1 full grade level. Question 3 will automatically add the data in lines 4 through 7. Section B is collecting the same information of academic performance of long-term students, but in math. Students who tested below, students with incomplete data, students who had negative grade change, students who show no change in grade level, students who show improvement up to 1 grade level, students who show improvement more than 1 grade level. Similar to section A in this part, question 3 will automatically add the data in lines 4 through 7. Part 5 is the section that includes the program compliance self-check questions. In this section, the LEA will indicate compliance with program requirements. For each program requirement listed in this part, click Compliance, Not in Compliance, or NA to indicate whether the LEA has complied with the requirements. By selecting In Compliance, the LEA assures that it has documentation showing compliance readily available and upon requested by TEA and/or an auditor. If Not in Compliance is selected, use the space provided to describe how the LEA plans to meet compliance the following year. Not applicable is only an option for some requirements and under the very specific circumstances that are listed where applicable. There are sections within Part 5 that will be disabled depending on the subgrantee. For example, Section A is meant to be filled out by LEAs, and Section B is meant to be filled out by the state agencies receiving Title I Part D funds. Please pay attention to the section title, as it will say what subpart of the program, either subpart 1 or subpart 2, is asking information from. Part 6 is for additional LEA information. It is an optional field. If the LEA has some explanation they feel they need to give about their data for Part D, this is the field where they will record that.